Ma'am, your good name please?
Anjali Khotpal.
Anjali
Khotpal. Khotpal.
Your age, ma'am?
52.
Profession as a principal. Right now you are working as a
Principal business.
education qualification, sir.
BA, BA.
BA in subject.
And then Hindi history.
Other than this education qualification, do you have some professional qualifications?
No.
Awards and recognitions you have in your career till now? Any award from school, colleges?
No.
Work experience up till now?
How many years or
And how many years?
32.
Do you have a favorite specialization subject to study within your field?
In the sense, like,
Any subject which you feel most likable, that you, whenever you would like to teach that, or whenever you like to give some presentation on particular subject. So which subject is that?
history.
So,
I'm Anjali Khotpal. I'm working in this institution from 1982. I joined as an assistant teacher in this school, and the school has come up since 1973, and it was the concept of Madam Shalini Kothare, principal of Mahila, Srimati Binzani Mahila Mahavidyalaya, and Ratan Chandak sir, the secretary, that since this institution has all the classes, we should also have classes from KG, because DD Nagar was conducting classes from 5th standard onwards, and we have 3 colleges with our institution, arts and commerce and science colleges as well. So up to post graduation we have, so we thought we should begin from KG and go up to PG level. That was the concept why this school came in, and looking at the demand for English medium, this came up as an English medium school. And initially we conducted classes only up to KG. In 77 we introduced the primary section also. And we went up to 4th class. But then soon we found out that without aids we cannot continue this school. The expenses are too much, and the fees was then very meager, which was controlled by the government. So there was no ratio proportion which could match the expenditure and income. So it became really very uncomfortable. Though we tried to conduct the school up to 7th standard then, that we will be getting grants very soon, it was not possible. The policy was made that English medium schools will not get any grants by Mr. Jitskar, Shrikant Jitskar. That policy came up, and then we lost our hopes on grants. So we discontinued our classes, reverted back to only up to 4th standard. Because admissions are not possible in 8th standard anywhere. Most of the schools won't give admission to children. So we reverted back to 4th standard, and we continued for after that up to 4th standard for a long till we came up to our silver jubilee. And then on parents' demands we started once again taking up the initiative, and this time we were much successful. By then we had found out donors also to donate for this school. We conducted few programs to raise up money. Management was very helpful. Mr. A.K. Gandhi was then very resourceful in providing us all opportunities and money. And then we conducted the classes, and we came up to 10th standard. And since then, we are doing very well. Um, we have one class and one section, but our children are doing really very well. All our results so far of 10th standard have been 100%. Otherwise also, it was planned in such a manner, rather our management groomed us in such a manner that we never always bothered about education as an aspect, but rather as a personality. So our motto was definitely all-round development, but we made it very clear that all-round development means activities in all fields. So wherever we got opportunity to participate through our students, we made them participate, and I'm really very proud to say that whenever children from our school are present with our other children, anybody who is organizing that event will definitely ask my child, from which school do you belong? They hear the name of my school, Ramesh Shandok, for the first time. They definitely ask where is it located, but that is the impact my children give. So I'm very happy about it that they definitely make us stand somewhere, and we have been able to produce very good students. Our parents are very cooperative to a very great extent, so that has been possible because of that. Like management has a view, management can provide opportunities. Parents and students definitely have to contribute a lot to this, only then a teacher can make it. So we are very good on this aspect that so far we have got very good support, and we have been able to bring up children very well. And whichever school or college they want admission in, if they decide they want in this, our children definitely seek admission in that. They are able to secure that much of points, we can say, to get themselves admitted. So a very clear view the children have, and the teachers help them in that greatly. So in this particular locality with meager fees and the children coming from lower middle income group generally, we are able to do very well. We are able to suffice their needs, and so are our needs satisfied. So it's very complimentary that we have a good rapport.
How did you choose this type of work? What drove you to it in the education field?
When I joined the school, I was neither a graduate nor a trained person. But I very well knew that I had the ability to communicate with people. I'm not saying teaching. That was very necessary. Most important point, I think, is you should be able to communicate and reach. So I was very sure I can do that, and my management was also very sure that I could do that. And after that, I had, like, they literally groomed us in such a manner that educational qualifications followed later, but by then I was a successful teacher and very popular with children and parents as well. So since it gave me complete satisfaction, I never thought I should change and opt out of this field. So I continued with the field, and today also I am equally satisfied what I was years ago.
It is really inspirational for us. What particular skills or talents one must essential to be effective in your job? How did you born these skills, and did you enter this position through a formal training program?
No, as I said, I was not trained and there was no formal training or something like that. Day one, I was given a class of 60 children. I entered the class, day one. Day one, I was given the responsibility to shoulder, and I was left on my own devices how to tackle those 60 children of second standard. So what I feel in a teacher is very necessary is she should be a very good actor, a very communicative, passionate teacher, and for everything, voice modulation is very necessary along with body language. If you can modulate your voice and your body language, I don't think you find any difficulty anywhere while interacting with a student. Students are very sharp enough to understand the voice and your body language. Once they know what is wanted, if you are clear in your views, you can make it clear to the children what is expected. You never find difficulty with children at all. So it's very rare that then there is any conflict between a child and a teacher. And the best part is, if you are there in a class that I'm going to teach, then you are on the wrong side. If you are in a class that let us learn something, that's the only way you can entertain a class. That's the way you will learn and the children will learn. But if I say I know, then I think you don't know anything about teaching. That's a basic thing.
What advice would you like to give about the educational field when a fresher is starting a career as a teacher?
I always tell that children are very fragile and you need to look after their emotions more than the subject that you are going to teach. I'm not interested in what you teach, I'm interested in how you handle the children. If you hurt somebody psychologically in that age, that child will never be able to recover. So that permission I cannot give to any teacher or anybody beginning in this field. They should handle children very well. Very well. Psychologically, no child should ever feel hurt.
It is a very sensitive matter, you can say that.
Very sensitive. And if the teacher knows this, only then she can stay in this field. Because it's a life interaction every day. What a child is going to ask, nobody knows.
Yes, ma'am.
So if nobody knows what is going to be asked, how can you be prepared for an answer? So in spontaneous answers are very much required, but you will be able to satisfy the need of a child only if you know the child well and if you know his emotions, what he is going through at that particular moment, why the question was raised, only then that answer will be available. Otherwise no answer will be available with any teacher anywhere. So that's it.
Is there any new graduate or diploma or any other courses you would like to suggest for students who wish to take teaching as a profession? Yes, there are lots of courses right now available with Tata Foundation is helping to students, Birla Foundation is helping for students. There are new methodologies of teaching. So do you know such kind of courses which you personally would recommend to them? Or some personality group of tips they should have with them?
I would definitely like all the children coming into this go with dramatics. Because dramatics teach you how to carry your body, how to modulate your voice, how to be spontaneous enough. So that is one field that I would like a child to experience more. Rest of the things can be developed easily. But these things, if you are not having them inborn with you, then these are the things that you should definitely have.
What preparation you would suggest for someone interested in entering an education field? Is there a particular type of field work or practical training is needed?
Unfortunately, the question is something that I don't understand. How can you train somebody to interact with live children? Sorry, but
No.
There is
this is
no-
the only answer we would
करके वो आप वापस तो नहीं ला सकते, तो फिर
interested in education sector.
trend.
Does this change from your beginning of your career up till now?
A lot. A lot. In the beginning, when I joined the school, very soon I got very emotionally attached with students, their parents, and all our members. So much so that I used to take up a bus and come. I used to walk around these lanes to reach my bus stop or come from the bus stop to the school. Each and every house knew that this is a person who's going to this school as a teacher, and she is very kind enough for the children and she is very helpful. So I was taken care of by the elders then, and I was given enough of support. Today I'm standing with 600 children in one room. Even if I stand, I have to do enough of things to attract them towards me, to get involved with, because they are so self-centered and so self-attracted that it becomes very difficult for me to get in touch with them, to reach them, especially to reach them. So many barriers they have that I have to make extra efforts to reach to each and every child, which I never had to do then. So a lot of change, I should say, is there, and now we don't share the same kind of emotional bonding we shared with our earlier students. I can recognize almost all my students along with their parents also. Even if I meet the parents, I can say, okay, this is the parent of this particular child. Today, to recognize my own school child, I have to put in efforts, because I'm not sharing a repo with them. I have confined myself to certain classes. I have confined myself to this office work. So reaching each and every child is not possible anymore to me. Not because I'm not able to reach them, but because they have their own barriers which I'm not able to cross. So too much of difficulty, a lot of change in the scenario, I should say. And there, because we knew in and out of child, what is the home background, what kind of brother sisters he has, how qualified the parents are, what other supports he has for his education, we could support the child very easily without his asking or saying for it. Now that we don't know the child, we don't know his background much, so until and unless we venture into it very deeply, I cannot help a child at all. So I find myself very limited because of this. Earlier, mostly grandparents used to come with their grandchildren to drop to school. So looking at my age and their age, they used to guide us. And they used to tell a lot many things which parents would have never shared with us. Because they often age come to understand what is life. So they easily told us all those things. So we knew each and everything very well. But now even parents hide so many things from us, and until we realize it and we tell the child parents that your child is like this or this is what is required in your child, वो पता था बट हमने लगा कि बच्चों के साथ रहेगा तो सीख जाएगा is a very common answer we get nowadays. अरे तुम्हारे बच्चे को पहले से ही पता, तुम्हारी कमजोरी पता थी तुमको तो तुम पहले बताते तो शायद उसका ग्रूमिंग हम वैसे कर लेते. अब जब सब बच्चों को पता चल गया, सब टीचर्स को पता लग गया, तो उसका ग्रूमिंग और डिफिकल्ट हो गया है क्योंकि उसने ऑलरेडी बैक सीट ले लिया है. तब तक वी कैन नॉट हेल्प दैट चाइल्ड मच, so it becomes very difficult. I should say कि nowadays it's really very difficult. Moreover, parents don't like to disclose about their financial conditions right now. Everybody, when they are moving out of their house, they are moving with the false image, you can say. So they portray the same
thing in the child.
How can I correct things when I don't have a correct image? It's not possible for me. So very difficult situation, I should say. So if the parents are really keen enough and eager enough, like we should not hide anything from a doctor, I would also say don't ever hide anything from a teacher, because the impact is still there. I would say what we heard 30 years ago, नहीं मेरे टीचर ने ये बोला और यही करना है, is still there. वो तो आज भी बच्चा बोलता है कि मेरी टीचर ने ये बोला, मुझे यही करना है. वो इम्पैक्ट तो अभी भी है. But then how the parents take up the situation nowadays, when parents directly blaming the teacher in front of children and finishing the image of the teacher, then the teacher also does the same by hitting at the parents' back. The image is lost everywhere. So that becomes very difficult. The child is totally confused. Whom to believe, teacher or parent, doesn't understand.
Ma'am, last thing, the Young Nation has taken this initiative regarding spreading the information to students, parents and teachers. So what are your opinion about this initiative?
As far as this doesn't become a commercial aspect, this is the best thing you are doing, and the more you reach children directly, you will be getting the best results. Children are very much in the need of this. Parents may overlook your efforts. Parents may feel that you are not doing anything which is very supportive to the child. But nowadays the child is very intelligent enough to understand that he is in need of people like you and your work. So he will keep hooking on to you as far as you are able to satisfy his needs. And I'm really very proud that such people are there around me. So who are doing really so good. And my best wishes, you reach maximum children. India is definitely in need of people like you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for giving your precious time to us. Thanks a lot.
I don't make it very formal. I would definitely like to have many of the things edited from it if they are not so
we will
very
edit it.
necessary
Yeah, no,
over
definitely.
there.
We will edit that. की जसं एक चालू असतं. No.
No.
Because the training sessions are going on right now. Government is also taking a training session. So your views on that?
Practically that has nothing to do with students and teachers. There can be no formal training to anybody. How can you instill love for students in a teacher? Is there any method to do this? And if she is not having love for children, how will she look into the qualities or whatever is required by the children? I don't think there is anything to do with it. In the formal trainings, they teach us a lot about psychology and how to go about the subject and this and that. How can you compare one child with another? I don't understand that. And you are giving training to teach 50, 60, whatever children are there. I don't believe that. Almost every day, even in this class and in this span of career, I would definitely say every one day I get one individual who comes up with something which is very different, and I have to tackle that particular situation in a totally new way which even I have not expected. So even in 30 years, every day if I am getting something new to learn, something new to understand, where is training? I'm not doing any training every day. So how am I going to tackle a situation every day? What training has to do with it? I really don't understand that.
How does a person progress in your field? What is a typical career path in education field? And what are the advancement opportunities in this field?
In this field, a teacher will progress only and only if she is good with children and children respond to her equally well. The day children stop responding, you lose interest in this career. Moreover, there is no money to allure you, or so you will just walk out of this business. So money or anything is nothing that can hold you. So I think only children and the response the children give you is the incentive to keep on going in this field. No other incentive is there, and the difference is easily visible. The teacher who is clicking with the children, is very popular with the children, will continue for a long time in the field. The others will have to move away. Time being they'll be there, it might be, they might use it as a stopgap period, you can say, to walk into other fields or maybe into other priorities of life. But no, a teacher cannot progress in this field until they are good with children.
Your views on the commercialization of the education sector today?
They've taken away the heart and soul of education right now by commercializing it. They're not even able to reach 1% to a child. If you cannot tell the child how to react to situations and what will be the effect of it if it doesn't react or a special is required, then what is the meaning of education? At present we see so many wrong things going on around us. Why we could not stop our children? We have educated and gained a lot of what we say percentage of our education is increasing. Our children are being literate, so-called illiterates. So how are we deteriorating in moral values? What has happened where? If nobody looks into the matter very soon, and it is not that only